How you guys doing? My name is Dr. Obed Magni, and welcome to the Leadership Accelerator. Today, we're going to be talking about the building of unshakable leadership presence. You want people to follow you, especially during those high pressure situations. I'm going to explain to you guys what the science is behind all of those things. So, we've all worked for great supervisors, great bosses for many reasons, right? They make you feel like you're the best version of yourself. They always support you, nurture you, put you in a position to succeed, and so on and so forth. Well, I've had the fortune. I've had the fortune of working for a couple of supervisors who are like that, and one comes to mind in particular. Um, you know, when I was a cop, I was working on this team where I worked with nothing but rock stars. The other officers that I worked with on this team, we were just synergistic in everything that we did. Ideologically, morally, ethically, I mean, we were just all on the same page. And so, pretty much day in and day out, we all just supported each other. We helped, the community out. We were very, very community oriented, community police oriented. So, a lot of what we did was, establishing relationships, and so on. And like any other team, we were really good at what we did. In particular, so much so that our boss, our supervisor, our sergeant, he would make several comments to the effect of, "Hey man, can y'all just please give me something to do? Because you guys know what you're doing. And even when I try to assert myself, you guys have already taken care of the problem. And it's just like, I'm just like a figurehead over here." And what he was basically saying was that, "Hey man, you guys are really good at what you do. And basically, I'm just sitting here in a support position where I'm just like, okay, do you need me to sign any paperwork or like, what do you want me to do? Like, you guys are just really. It's almost like having five supervisors out there, and y'all are just making me useless." And again, he was just basically saying that, you guys, I trust you. I'm putting you in a position to succeed, and not only are you succeeding, you guys are just doing the Lord's work. I mean, nobody in the streets is complaining. You guys are not using force. I mean, you guys are basically quintessentially the model of what the community is looking for in their police officers and their community officers and so on. And so, again, we appreciated that. And, he always stuck up for us. He went to bat for us when, other supervisors kind of gave us the side eye because they were telling him, "Hey, man, you're giving them too much freedom to do whatever." And what he was basically saying was, "Hey, I don't have to micromanage. They're basically doing my job for me." And so I'm sharing this with you, okay, as we talk about that unshakable leadership. How many of you guys want that kind of reputation where, you're leading a team and everyone's like, "Man, that team is so well put together. They're just so dialed that, I mean, they basically run themselves." Well, I'm going to talk to you guys about the science behind that. So, first things first, nonverbal presence. Uh, what that does is activate those mirror neurons. So if you think about, being in those high pressure situations, right? You have that supervisor who is just, calm, cool as a cucumber, and everyone all of a sudden is no longer freaking out because the leader of that group or the organization or whoever it is in that situation is also cool as a cucumber. Well, what's happening is that you're activating, when you're in that position, you're activating unconsciously those mirror neurons in the other person. So if you want to be seen as a leader, that unshakable leader, even during those high pressure situations, you've got to have that presence, that nonverbal presence of, "I'm calm, I'm not letting this situation overwhelm me." And what you're doing is you're activating those neurons within those individuals that you're around because they're doing the same thing too. That's why when those people who are freaking out, everybody starts freaking out, and then the whole thing goes haywire. So again, first things first, non-verbal presence. The second thing, psychological safety. This is where you reduce your cortisol level and you increase your oxytocin levels. I don't know if you heard the dog barking in the background. I swear, when I do these videos, dogs like to start barking and then they want to make their presence known and everything. So I apologize for the barking that you hear in the background. But with psychological safety, You ever put yourself in a position where people feel comfortable coming to you to say something because they trust you and so on and so forth? Well, that's what psychological safety is. That's the science behind it. Your cortisol levels decrease. And what is cortisol? That's the stress hormone. So if your stress levels are up, you're not feeling very hot. People probably don't want to be around you because you're irritable and so on and so forth. When you the oxytocin level, the oxytocin stress level, oh my, I can't even talk today. The oxytocin that's in your body, that hormone increases, and that's the trust hormone that's within your body, okay? So that's why when you create an environment, whether you're a manager, a leader, even if you're just somebody who's on the front lines, when you have an aura about yourself where people feel safe to be around you, to share things with you, to share things that might be, might put them in a vulnerable state, what that means is, or what that is those levels, that trust hormone is being opened up and it's being raised. And that's something that you want to do, okay? That's the science behind that, all right? So if you want to have that unshakable leadership presence, make sure you're creating that psychological safety around you so that people feel safe and not that they're going to feel burned or they're going to, you're going to talk down to them or make them feel bad or anything like that, okay? Third thing I want to share with you is authentic influence. Authentic influence, what does that do? We're talking about dopamine. So what happens when your dopamine levels go up? You're happy, you're more confident, and so on and so forth. Well, where does that come from? If you're acting in your authentic self, if you're being your authentic self, you're not pretending to be somebody else, you're not faking it, you're being who you truly are at your core, people will follow. And what happens is that intrinsic motivation that you have within you, when your actions match your purpose, everything just becomes synergistic. Okay, so what does that do for the prefrontal cortex? The prefrontal cortex of your brain, that's the, I guess you could say, the control center, so to speak. That's the decision making part of your brain. Well, you're achieving and you're reaching the higher level parts of that part of the brain. So what's happening is you're making better decisions and so on. So if you want to have that unshakable leadership presence, you want to make sure that you're acting in your authentic self. All right? So that's it. Just real three quick things: nonverbal presence, psychological safety, authentic influence. You do those things, you're on your way to being that unshakable leader that everybody doesn't just want to follow, but also want to be around 24/7. Again, I'm Dr. Obed Magni. Thank you for listening. And again, welcome to the Leadership Accelerator course here on YouTube. And I'm glad that you guys are here. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing every one of you guys soon.